Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for joining this morning. Srimad Bhagavatam class and attentive japa. We shall continue to talk about Prthu Maharaj and this wonderful narration, pastime. And we're learning a lot from this. So, Prthu Maharaj was visited by Narayan himself, and Lord Narayan told Prthu Maharaj to look after the citizen as he was already doing so nicely. And we said that, yeah, this is like, they were like his children. And for us, the lesson is that we should look after our children and help the rest of the society. That's our responsibility, to help others to find Krishna consciousness, to find spirituality. And you can see outside that, the culture's declined, and religiosity has declined. Nobody's helping people. So we got to take the responsibility upon us. Obviously, with discretion, we try and help people. And I find that, you can't sort of jump straight into spirituality with people. You have to speak to them on different levels, different stages, recognizing their needs. You have to bring them up onto a higher platform slowly. So thank you so much. So praise of King Prthu. So now King Prthu is going to do praise to Narayan. And Lord Narayan has said, look, ask for anything from me. I'm very pleased with you. So please ask. And now King Prthu is going to do some praise for Lord Narayan. The Supreme Personality Godhead stood with his lotus feet almost touching the ground while he rested the front of his hand on the raised shoulder of Garuda, the enemy of the snakes. Maharaj Prthu, wiping the tears from his eyes, tried to look upon the Lord, but it appeared that the king was not fully satisfied by looking at him, because the king offered the following prayers. The significant point in this verse is that the Lord was standing above the ground. You see, Srila Prabhupada explaining, almost touching it. The residents of the upper planetary system, beginning with Brahmalok, the planet where Lord Brahma lives, down to Svarglok, the heavenly planet of Indra, are so advanced in spiritual life that when they come to visit these or similar lower planetary systems, they keep their weightlessness. This means that they can stand without touching the ground. Lord Vishnu is a Supreme Personality Godhead, but because he lives in one of the planetary systems within this universe, he sometimes plays as one of the demigods of this universe. When he first appeared before Prthu Maharaj, he was not touching the ground of this earth. But when he was fully satisfied with the behavior and character of Maharaj Prthu, he immediately acted as the Supreme Personality Godhead Narayan from Vaikuntha. Out of affection for Prthu Maharaj, he touched the earth, but he rested the front of his hand on the raised shoulder of Garuda, his carrier, as if to prevent himself from falling down. Since the Lord is not accustomed to stand on earthly ground, these are all symptoms of his great affection for Prthu Maharaj. Perceiving his fortunate position, Prthu Maharaj could not fully look upon the Lord due to ecstasy, but still in a faltering voice, he began to offer his prayers. So let's do our prayer. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Mukham Kroti Vachalam Pangum Lam Yate Gurim Yat Kirpa Tamam Shri Guru Din Dharanam Pramanda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishram Hari Om Tassat Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiriyat Nashta Presha Abhadareshu Nityam Bhagavad Sevya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Neshtikya. So now Maharaj Prthu is going to recite his prayers. My dear Lord, you are the best of the demigods who can offer benedictions. Why, therefore, should any learned person ask you for benedictions? So Lord Narayan says, ask for benediction. And Prthu Maharaj is saying, why do I need a benediction? For living entities bewildered by the modes of nature, such benedictions are available automatically, even in the lives of living entities suffering in hellish conditions. He said he doesn't want anything material. My dear Lord, you can certainly bestow merging into your existence, but I don't wish to have such a benediction either. So he doesn't want anything like that, any kind of benediction, material or even liberation and merging into the Lord. My dear Lord, I therefore don't wish to have the benediction of merging into your existence, a benediction in which there is no existence of the nectarian beverage of your lotus feet. I want the benediction of at least 1 million years, so thus I may be able to hear about the glories of your lotus feet from the mouths of your pure devotees. And this is what a devotee of the Lord asks. He doesn't ask for anything trivial. He only asks for service and only asks for be able to listen to the glories of the Lord. My dear Lord, you are glorified by the selected verses uttered by great personalities. Such glorification of your lotus feet is just like saffron particles. When the transcendental vibration from the mouths of great devotees carries the aroma of the saffron dust of your lotus feet, the forgetful living entity gradually remembers his eternal relationship with you. Devotees thus gradually come to the right conclusion about the value of life. My dear Lord, I therefore don't need any other benediction but the opportunity to hear from the mouth of your pure devotee. My dear, highly glorified Lord, if one in the association of pure devotees hears even once the glories of your activities, he does not, unless he is nothing but an animal, give up the association of devotees. For no intelligent person would be so careless as to leave the association. The perfection of chanting and hearing about your glories was accepted even by the goddess of fortune, who desire to hear of your unlimited activities and transcendental glories. So the association of devotees, which is known as Arya Sangha, is the most important factor in this world. The word Arya refers to those who are advancing spiritually. In the history of the human race, the Aryan family, as I think remember Mahabharata, Arya, they were saying Aryaputra, is considered to be the most elevated community in the world because it adopts the Vedic civilization. The Aryan family is distributed all over the world and is known as Indo-Aryan. In prehistoric days, all of the members of the Arya family followed the Vedic scriptures or principles, and therefore they became spiritually advanced. The kings, known as Rajrishis, were so perfectly educated as Kshatriyas or protectors of the citizens, and so greatly advanced in spiritual life that there was not a bit of trouble for the citizens. The glorification of the Supreme Lord can be very much appreciated by the Aryan family. Although there is no bar for others, the members of the Aryan family very quickly catch the essence of spiritual life. How is it that we are finding it very easy to spread Krishna consciousness among the Europeans and Americans? History reports that the Americans and Europeans proved their capability when they were anxious to expand colonization. But at the present time, being contaminated by the advancement of material science, their sons and grandsons are turning into reprobates. So Srila Prabhupada, he left India. He tried to spiritualize the communities in India, and it wasn't working. And it was realized by his guru, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami, that we tend to follow the white body community more. Whatever they do, we think, yeah, that's the way to go. That's the right thing to do. That's cool thing to do. So he advised Srila Prabhupada to go to the West and get them, and he realized that they will catch this very quickly. This Krishna consciousness, they will become more Krishna conscious very quickly. Whereas our people, they're not taking it seriously. sometimes you think I know everything and I don't need to know anymore. So they came in and yes, it spread like wildfire. They understood it very young age. They took it themselves, and they marched forward in Krishna consciousness, helping Srila Prabhupada to spread it all over the world. So yeah, definitely, that system definitely works. So this is due to their having lost the original spiritual culture, which is Vedic civilization. Presently, these descendants of the Aryan family are taking this Krishna consciousness movement very seriously. Others who are associating with them and hearing the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra from the lips of pure devotees are also becoming captivated by the transcendental vibration. Transcendental vibrations are very much effective when chanted among Aryans. But even though one does not belong to the Aryan family, he will become a Vaishnava simply by hearing the mantra, because the vibration has great influence over everyone. Yeah, so this is amazing. Maharaj Prthu points out that even the goddess of fortune, who is the constant companion of Lord Narayan, specifically wanted to hear about the Lord's glories and for the association of the gopis who are pure devotees. The goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, underwent severe austerities. The impersonalists may ask why one should bother chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra continually for so many years instead of stopping and trying for Kevalya or liberation or marching into the existence of the Lord. In answer, Maharaj Prthu maintains that the attraction of the chanting is so great that one cannot give up the process unless he is an animal. And we find that it's very difficult just to even to imagine stop chanting, doing our rounds. It's just when you think about it at the beginning, oh, I have to do so many rounds every day, non-stop. But now when you think about it, you think, oh, how can I even live without doing the chanting every day? It's like a medicine that you need to take every day. So Maharaj Prthu maintains that attraction of chanting is so great that one cannot give up the process unless he is an animal. This is the case when one becomes in contact with this transcendental vibration by chance. Prthu Maharaj is very emphatic in this connection. Only an animal can give up the practice of chanting Hare Krishna. Those who are not animals but actually intelligent, advanced, human, civilized men cannot give up this practice of continually chanting Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And then Maharaj Prthu continues, now I wish to engage in the service of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and to serve just like the goddess of fortune, who carries a lotus flower in her hand, because his lordship, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is a reservoir of all transcendental qualities. I'm afraid that the goddess of fortune and I would quarrel, because both of us would be tentatively engaged in the same service. So Maharaj Prthu is in ecstatic mood. He wants to completely surrender to the Lord, but he's saying that there might be some conflict, because I want to serve you just like the gods of fortune. I want to totally surrender to you, but will I be in the way of gods of fortune? This is how ecstatic he's feeling. Prthu Maharaj desired to serve the Lord with the gods of fortune, but this desire does not mean that he was situated on the platform of Madhurya Ras. The goddess of fortune is engaged in the service of the Lord in the Ras of Madhurya, conjugal love, although her position is on the chest of the Lord. The goddess of fortune, in her position as a devotee, takes pleasure in serving the lotus feet of the Lord. Prthu Maharaj was thinking only of the lotus feet of the Lord because he's on the platform of Dasya Ras. So he's thinking from the Dasya position that as a Das, he should be serving the lotus feet of the Lord. But then he's thinking, well, goddess of fortune, Lakshmi is also serving. So will I be in the way and I'll be interrupting her? From the next verse, we learn that Prthu Maharaj was thinking of goddess of fortune as the universal mother. Jagannatha. Consequently, there was no question of his competing with her on the platform Madhurya Ras. Nonetheless, he feared that she might take offense at his engaging in the service of the Lord. This suggests that in the absolute world, there is sometimes competition between servitors in the service of the Lord, but such competition is without malice. In the Vaikuntha world, if a devotee excels in the service of the Lord, others do not become envious of his excellent service, but rather aspire to come to the platform of that service. So there is no envy in the spiritual world. So this explains, my dear Lord of the universe, the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, is the mother of the universe, and yet I think that she may be angry with me because of my intruding upon her service and acting on that very platform to which she is so much attached. Yet I am hopeful that even though there is some misunderstanding, you will take my part, for you are very much inclined to the poor, and you always magnify even insignificant service onto you. Therefore, even though she becomes angry, I think there is no harm for you because you are so self-sufficient that you can do without her. Is like in a static state, and he just speaking his mind. Great saintly persons who are always liberated take to your devotional service, because only by devotional service can one be relieved from the illusions of material existence. Oh my Lord, there is no reason for the liberated souls to take shelter at your lotus feet, except that souls are constantly thinking of your feet. My dear Lord, what you have said to your unalloyed devotee is certainly very much bewildering. The allurements you offer in the Vedas are certainly not suitable for pure devotees. People in general, bound by the sweet words of the Vedas, engage themselves again and again in fruity activities, enamored by the results of their actions. So the Lord sometimes offers benedictions to the neophyte devotees who have not yet understood that material facilities will not make them happy. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Lord therefore says that a sincere devotee who's not very intelligent may ask some material benefit from the Lord. But the Lord, being omniscient, does not generally give material rewards, but on the contrary, takes away whatever material facilities are being enjoyed by his devotee, so that ultimately the devotee will completely surrender unto him. In other words, the offering of benedictions in the form of material property is never auspicious for the devotee, because it takes us away from the Lord. We start enjoying those material offerings and we forget the Lord. So it's really not auspicious. The statements of the Vedas, which offer elevation to heavenly planets in exchange for great sacrifices, are simply bewildering. Having said that, if we are prepared to spiritualize anything material we have, then that is okay. So if you are happy to spiritualize whatever, whether we have wealth or we have other facilities, we have family, this is all material. But if we can spiritualize all these things, use them in the service of the Lord, then the Lord is happy with that, and he'll give you more and more so you can spiritualize these things. Therefore, in Bhagavad-Gita 2.42, the Lord says, Yam imam pushpitam vacham parvatanti va pushita. The less intelligent class of men, which is avipushita, attracted by the flowery language of the Vedas, engage in fruitive activities to become materially benefited. So they continue life after life in different bodily forms to search very, very hard. So the Vedas contain the flowery language, they contain methods, processes of doing yajnas to go to the higher planets and to gain material benefits. That's just to show us they're there, like I was saying at the beginning, that people are on different stages and we have to recognize the stage. So even the Vedas recognize that the people are in different stages. They give facilities for all stages, because only once you experienced that facility, you realize that it's quite futile. It's really not the ultimate gift that we should be searching. It's just to let you experience that look, it's not good as you think it is. Experience it, move on, try to get to a higher ladder. But we have been given devotional service, we have been Krishna conscious, which we don't even have to go onto any ladder. We can go straight up the elevator, straight to Krishna consciousness. Whereas the Vedas are giving you stage by stage, so you can rise up to the ultimate. You will come to Krishna consciousness, but we don't. Our lifespan is not that long that we can go in stages. We need to go straight from the elevator. You go right to the top instead of going in stages. And this is where Krishna consciousness is so beneficial. My Lord, due to your illusory energy, all living beings in this material world have forgotten their real constitutional position. And out of ignorance, they are always desirous of material happiness in the form of society, friendship, and love. So, we're looking for all these things. Therefore, please don't ask me to take some material benefits from you. Maharaj says, I know, I've understood. But as a father, not waiting for the son's demand, does everything for the benefit of the son. Please bestow upon me whatever you think best for me. The great sage Maitreya continued. So Maitreya is now telling Vidur, continued by saying that the Lord, the seer of the universe, after hearing Prthu Maharaj's prayer, addressed the king. My dear king, may you always be blessed by engaging in my devotional service. So that is the highest gift. And Narayan is giving this highest gift to Prthu Maharaj. Only by such purity of purpose as you yourself very intelligently express can one cross over the insurmountable illusory energy of Maya. My dear king, O protector of the citizens, henceforward be very careful to execute my orders and not be misled by anything. Anyone who lives in that way, simply carrying out my orders faithfully, will always find good fortune all over the world. The great Saint Maitreya told Vidur, the Supreme Personality of Godhead amply appreciated the meaningful prayers of Maharaj Prthu. Thus, after being properly worshipped by the king, the Lord blessed him and decided to depart. So it seems that if Lord Narayan or Krishna himself, they're offering you benediction, you have to be very careful what you ask for. So if Krishna, came in front of you and he said, what would you like? Ask me any benediction. So it's like a test, really. What do you ask for? It's like that old woman that we give example, who's carrying a bundle of sticks and they fell down. And then Lord Narayan came and he said, what would you like? I'll have to give you benediction. And she just wanted him to put the sticks back on her shoulder. It's like that. So we have to be ready. If Krishna asks us, what would you like? We have to know the difference between mundane benediction and the top benediction. And devotional service to the Lord and always remembering the Lord, never forgetting the Lord, is the highest benediction. So thank you so much for joining. Hina Mataji, welcome out Sham Sundar Prabhuji, Partha Prabhu, Parveen Mataji, Prem Prakash Prabhu, and welcome also Sarveshya Mataji. Hope you're feeling better. So thank you so much. And let's have a quick discussion on this. Madhav Sham Sundar Prabhu, would like to hear from you first. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Hope you're feeling well.
Hari Bol Prabhuji, you okay?
I'm good, Prabhu.
Very, very nice class. Very helpful. Very good points. I don't want to add anything, but it was a very useful class.
So we shouldn't ask for anything material, right? But why do we end up asking for material things?
Say that again, please.
I'm just saying that we end up asking for material things. It's our nature to ask for material things, right?
Yeah.
So how can we stop that? How can we stop asking for material benefits from God? Everybody asks for material things. How can we stop ourselves from asking material things?
Engaging with the God services.
Okay.
And not try to get engaged too much with the material thing. I know it's not that easy thing to do, but that's what we have to do.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. We have to, I think we have to keep reminding ourselves. I think we forget, isn't it? We forget, we're very forgetful. And it's our default nature to ask for material benefits. But we have to remind ourselves that, what is.
I'm trying to say probably it's very hard to stay away from these material things. But at the same time, you have to remember where you're coming from and where you're going.
Good. Yeah. Absolutely. You have to remember that is he going to take me closer to Krishna or is he going to take me away from Krishna? Right?
Yeah.
So we just have to check ourselves. There's this, what you call it, temptation to get material benefits, but then we have to think, well, although I would like this, but is that going to help me in my spirituality? Because that's the most important thing for this life that we have been given, right? So we have this opportunity and we have a responsibility. The opportunity is the human life, and the responsibility is to help others by learning first and then helping others. It's like being in a plane. They say that put your mask on. If there's any problem, put your mask on first, and then you help others. You can't help others unless you help yourself first. So help yourself quickly, and then help others. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Hina Mataji, Haribol.
Haribol, Prabhu, Pranayam, everyone. Thank you for the great class this morning, Prabhu. That was great. I think, for me, the key takeaway points from this is the key messages around how it's just what we were just discussing around Prthu Maharaj obviously set the standard of what a devotee should be asking for, and obviously he's just asking for service. He's not asking for anything materialistic. He's asking to hear Krishna's glories from the mouths of pure devotees, which obviously is asking for the association of devotees indirectly from doing that, and so that kind of sets the benchmark for really what is important, what we should strive to keep as important in our life as well, and what we should be asking for. So that was it really for me. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely key points. Thank you so much, Mataji. Partha Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yeah, such nice points. I mean, every point has some past tense as well. So first point is I like this point where Srila Prabhupada felt like teaching Western was easy. So in this regard, I was listening to one of the story, like there are two people who go to a harmonium teacher, and the one person says that I know a little bit of harmonium, and other person say I don't know anything of harmonium, and how much do you charge for me? So the teacher says that I charge 1,000 pounds for the first person who knows a little bit of harmonium, but he charge only 800 pounds or some less than that for the person who don't know anything of harmonium. Then he was surprised, like how come his fees is more than me, because he know a little bit already. And he says that the teacher says that is why I need to charge more, because I need to take out whatever he learned already. Then I can make it zero, and then I can teach him. That was easy for me. So I thought, like in India, we have different philosophies from the beginning. That is why it is very hard to teach anybody in India, whereas other people do not have anything, so it's easy. To start from zero is easy, rather than starting from something already there. And another point you said, like material things. Recently, we were discussing that why we ask for a material thing, because we can utilize them in the service of the Lord again. So there are so many examples, like Ramanand Rai. He was a government officer, but he was using everything in the service of the Lord. So it's not bad to ask for material, provided you're using it in the service of the Lord and service of the devotees. And another point which is very striking is Lord do not give materials benefits. Instead, he take away the material benefits. So there was again a small story on this one. Like once Lord Ram and Lakshman, they were going, and in the forest they found a lady, and lady invited them to offer bhoga to them, and she cooked for them, and she was having a cow as well with her. And then after some time, even the lady was having only cow with her, and after some time cow also died. And Lakshman, while going back, he asked Lord Ram that you should have protected her cow. No, she was so nice. At least she was having one company, you could have protected her. Lord Ram said, actually, I only took that cow because that's the only thing which is stopping me, that lady, to reach me. So in this way, Lord take away all the benefits rather than giving the benefits, so that they can come close to Krishna again. So that's all, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Wonderful. Yeah. Perfect. Prabhu, I think you hit the nail on the head. Yes, and Krishna does give you, he gives some people a lot of wealth, and other people he takes away the wealth. He knows your intentions, that if you are able to use it in his service, anything, whether whatever it is, he will give you. That if he thinks it will be good for you, he thinks it might not benefit you, it might take you away from him, then he will take away from you. That's if you're a devotee, that he wants you to come close. So it's like it's benediction in both sides. Whether he takes it away or gives it to you, then it's a benediction either way, because it's both ways to bring you closer. Thank you, Prabhuji. Wonderful. Praveen Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam to everyone. Very nice class, Prabhuji. And I really like the example given by Prthu Prabhuji. It's easy to teach someone who doesn't know anything. That's very good. And I just want to express my gratitude to you and Prabhupada, for telling us all this, reading the Bhagavatam. And so we get to know that devotional service is very, very important. And Prthu Maharaj, how he chooses devotional service. And we have to remember that, where we are going rather than going for material gratification. So, and we can see with whatever little we're doing, we can see the difference that brings to us. Like you said, when, like, for some reason, if I can't do my chanting in the morning, I miss it. And like I was away and I said to my daughter about 10 o'clock, I said, I need to do my rounds. You miss it, even though you think you're out, you're having good time, but that attraction is there. You want to, be united with the Lord. So I hope we carry on like this. And thank you so much, Prabhuji, for your time you're giving us. And association, how it is important to be in the association of the devotees. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah. Life is preparation, and death is examination, or the time of death examination. So yeah, it's like we have exam coming up. We don't know when. This, at least with the material examinations, it's on this such a date. At such time you got exam. With the exam of death, we don't know. It can come at any moment. So we have to be prepared. So chanting and serving, associating, we are doing a preparation. So it's very important that we are ready. We should be ready right now. We should be ready, because we don't know when the exam is going to be. It's very, very important. Sometimes, even the material exams, you get like nightmares. You think, even at this age, you'll get nightmare. Oh, I had the exam to go. I haven't prepared for my exam. I have an exam, just something in your head. We should be getting nightmares about this. I'm not prepared. One day I'm going to have to leave this world. What's going to happen to me? I have to be prepared. Our preparation should be like, panic, urgent, that we have to prepare and then not take it lightly, So yeah, thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Prem Prakash Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Chaitanya Pranam, Yashipad ki jai, Maharaj ki jai. Hare Krishna, Guruji. That's really amazing, actually, this pastime. It shows that all those, and I can compare, not basically a lot, but yes, I can somehow compare Prthu Maharaj with Srila Prabhupada, because both are considered to be a Sakyavish. I mean, Guru Maharaj was giving a lecture. He went into some program, and they directly confirmed. I mean, they directly spoke that Srila Prabhupada is a Satyadesha avatar of Krishna. So that was really amazing, and I can compare with Prthu Maharaj being such a powerful personality. He is still so humble to take a position of Dasya Bhav and having the pure static love for Krishna when he appears as Narayan appears, and then he actually takes a humble position in worshipping him. So many things to understand. One thing is to see how Prthu Maharaj's actions are there, what Prthu Maharaj's bhav is there towards Krishna, and when it is explained. The other thing is that what bhav we do have towards Krishna when we do our deity worship, what bhav we have when we actually uh, associate with devotees. How do we understand the scriptures basically? Do we know the purpose behind the scriptures? So here an example is given. The purpose of scriptures or reading the scriptures is to reach out to Krishna and please Krishna. So we can see that Prthu Maharaj was not very adamant to actually do the 100 yagya because Lord Narayan is already pleased upon him. He says that there's no need of doing it. And then Prthu Maharaj knows that something which is higher than that, and that is how to praise Lord Narayan. Krishna, how to actually, when Krishna, he demonstrated how to please Krishna. So it's not yagya, it's bhav, what we have for Krishna, how we actually offers our prayer, what we want from Krishna, or how we want to do devotional service to Krishna. That is even higher than performing hundreds of yagya and whatsoever it is there. So very important is that when Krishna and Krishna and Lord Narayan is so pleased basically when he appears. It's mentioned and that Lord Narayan would not never actually put a put his feet on ground, but he tried doing so for Prthu Maharaj because he was so pleased with him, and so that is another example of how to please Krishna by doing devotional service. Uh, and obviously, I mean, there are many things if we see around, those are because we are in material body, so we'll have to live in a material condition. We can't actually deny that we won't eat for several days. Obviously, by the mercy of Lord Nityananda and Lord Gauranga, by the mercy of Krishna, one can do that, but it is practically not possible for most of us, basically. So it's what is more important to us is to understand is that uh, we are in material body. We will have our needs, requirements to maintain this body. And sometimes, if we associate based on the modes, we will actually having those needs as wants. So we will have the wants and desires. It will be desired to carry out our services. It will be desired to actually carry out, uh, earn more money to live in a better way. And those are basically uh, which will be there. So by the example, we can see that these things comes by default. We should not actually take them as a granted. I'm sorry, we should not actually take them as something which is whole and soul everything. So someone can be rich and someone can be not having enough faculties for or facilities for maintaining their body and the things. But most important thing is to know what is the best, because if we don't know what is the best, when the time comes and we've been given any opportunity to actually do any of the service or anything like that, it will not be possible for us to desire for the best. Just like that, in morning when we wake up, it's very important for us to brush and do our daily activities. So it is something which can't be avoided. But if there's a worship, beyond that is a worship of Krishna. If we want to do arti, so we know that what's coming next basically. So if someone wants, what do you want to do today? So you know what has to do. I mean, nobody says that I want to get up in the morning and brush. That is implicit, basically. That's going to come. But what is the highest purpose of life, basically, or what is the highest benediction? So this is how personalities like Prthu Maharaj, Kunti Devi, and Prahlad Maharaj are asking for, are praying for. They know, they are teaching us what is the best when the opportunity comes, how to do the service, and when the opportunity comes, what to desire and what not to desire. So this is an excellent example of Prithu Maharaj. Even when he's angry, by doing service because of extreme love for Krishna, Krishna appeared before him and just to please him. And being even as a plenary portion of Krishna, he takes humble position. When the whole Krishna is there, then he takes humble position of as a servitor. That is very important for us as well. We have to carry out our duties. That's what Prithvi Maharaj was carrying out his duties. But we, at the same time, we have to be humble enough to understand what position do we hold and how we see devotees around us. Are we seeing devotees as a devotee of Lord Krishna and we are serving them? Or we are seeing them as a controller of them and instructing them? So this is very important. If you see, for the example, we've been given, we'll be told that we are around, we desire to be around. And the crux is that Mam Janmani Janmanishwari Bhaktad Bhakti Rahitakitvi. So our life after life, so there is no question of liberation. I should be I mean, desire to get your bhakti and sangha, I mean, association of bhaktas and bhakti, to carry out your devotional service. That is the ultimate goal of Vaishnavas. So we should know that basically. If you see, that is the ultimate goal. There is no question of liberation. The liberation, mukti, and anything else that will be standing just before us. So that is the ultimate goal. And one more point I like, Prabhuji, is when you said that between the devotees, there could be a competition in spiritual sense, basically, to excel in the devotional service. But it is also important to, and there is no competition, there is no envy or the question of envy between the devotees. Uh, so that's an excellent point. So in a yatra, we can see that someone can excel in doing the same service what we've been doing. And then we need to understand that if he's doing so, it's a special mercy of Krishna that he's doing a special service, and it's time to learn, take a humble position and learn from him. However, in the pastime, it's also Prthu Maharaj says that I think Prthu Maharaj says that Lord Lakshmi might be angry or not comfortable. Sorry, Goddess Lakshmi might be angry or not comfortable when I would desire or be serving the lotus feet. But then he says that I think you will be able to manage. So you will not get angry with me. So we see that there are different rasas between devotees as well. And as long as one is pleasing Krishna, and so those spiritual rasas are still accepted in a bhav. And we should desire to actually serve basically in humble position. There's an example between Sakhas, Krishna Sakhas, in a Sakhya Bhav. They will run towards Krishna. Who will touch Krishna first? Who will hold Krishna first? So there is competition. So if we actually understand that in spiritual world, there's not going to be competition. There is competition in spiritual sense as well. But there is no point of envy. That's we need to understand. And what we hold normally is envy, and wherever there is competition, there is envy. So we need to actually get rid of that as well somehow. So that's how that's what I have, Prabhuji. Sorry for that. I'm taking so much of time.
That's fine, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Yes, I like your point that even being a king and Shakti Ashvesha avatar of the Lord, and Maharaj still took the position of a dasya. He was thinking position of a servant, and that may or may not be his true position. We will have a rasa, and maybe he's dasya, or maybe sakya, could be conjugal. We don't know. We all have that rasa with God, but it's covered at the moment because of illusory energy. But having said that, yeah, always think you are your servant of the Lord, because that should be a constitutional position. Even if your position is maybe later on defined it's higher, but even at a higher position, you still go through all the processes, from Dasya to Sakya, they're all included in whichever position you're in. You're still a servant, you're still a friend. Even at the highest level, you will be serving the Lord. So the different, whatever position you're in, you still, you still have to serve. It's not that, oh, you're in a higher position now, Krishna going to serve you. But we should always say that yes, we are servants, and whichever rasa is our natural rasa with Krishna, which we find out. But yes, always think we are the servant. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Very well.
Just one more thing, Prabhuji. I mean, someone asked Guru Maharaj that, how do you know, I mean, how do you think that you are doing excellent rounds, basically chanting, and you are doing it? Guru Maharaj replied that, you never think that you are doing excellent rounds. You always take a humble position of saying that I'm not doing well. I need to improve on that, even if you're doing the best rounds in your entire life. So that is something we need to understand, that we always need to take humble position. We always need to think that there's so much scope to improve, and that's the only way to improve. Also, Jayad Betta Maharaj was there in Leicester, and I got an opportunity to hear just a bit of his his big lecture, just small portion of it, when he says that we are our movement, or as a part of the movement, we are actually mercy or kripa patra, or basically mercy characters, basically. So we actually depends on the mercy. We don't take proud of our sadhana and everything. So we need to understand that we always need to be in humble position, even if we do excellent things beyond exception, uh, wondrous feat. Basically, we always need to take humble position as a mercy of Guru and Gauranga, and pray to actually do better. That's very important, because I feel that if I keep on doing something very well, even in our sadhana or something, we start to take a proud that yes, I'm doing it well. But we need to understand where it is coming from. So just wanted to add that.
Thank you. Thank you, Ravi. Sureshi Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everybody. All glories to Prabhupada. This is a way of talking about prayers, where prayers are actually when we want to say something, when we want to talk to God, that's a prayer, and we express our feelings, how we are, and what we want. There are different kinds of prayers we do. Sometimes it's a confession, we do something wrong, and then we want to ask God, Krishna, for forgiveness. And then we ask all the time blessing and the protection. Protection is very important, because in this age of Kali, anything can go wrong. Padam padam edvipatam, Krishna says in Bhagavad-Gita. So protection. And Prthu Maharaj, he prayed to Krishna for his citizens of the subjects, protection, and mindly do the devotional service. It doesn't matter what caste or what social orders they are in, but all the time they engage themselves in Krishna's devotional service. And that's what he prayed for protection, and that's the very grand thing for anybody that think about protection of others than themselves. He was for doing it for himself as well, but for the citizens as well, he didn't forget. And he told them that Krishna is the source of all spiritual material world. Everything emanates from him, and he has unlimited six opulences: fame, beauty, wealth, renunciation, strength, and knowledge. This is why he's called Bhagwan. He's full, he's complete. Purnam Ada, Purnam Idam, Purnam Purnat Udaychaite. And in this age of Kali, is the best prayer that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That means Hare is Radha Rani, the energy of Krishna, please engage me in devotion service of Krishna. That's the best prayer you can do. And a lot of people, they want for sense gratification, so they go to demigod and ask for them. It's a temporary. When they leave the bodies, they leave everything here. But when you pray to Krishna, that is eternal. That's the thing you can gonna take with them. You leave your body here, you leave your possession, everything. Only the thing you can take with you, your is devotional service. And that's why it's very hard in this world, but we have to try to engage our senses instead of looking different thing. Have a look of just like Amrish Maharaj, give good example of how to engage those senses. We can do it, probably not 100%, but 50% we can do it. It's like we don't want to hear all these mundane things, music. We like to because we like to hear Hare Krishna. So engage your senses in Krishna. That's how you're gonna leave the material things. If you do even 50%, 50% is you are past. So that's how we should try to engage our senses in Krishna consciousness and read the books and follow the acharyas, what they felt. That's what they were. That books are Prabhupada gives us book, so we can follow the example of the acharyas. And that what Prthu Maharaj was teaching the same thing what Prabhupada is teaching us now, and so they follow the acharyas. So we try to engage our senses if we want to leave the material things. That's the only thing we can do. And chant, and that's the prayer, best prayer for the Kali, for this Yuga. Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.